Finally. Finally, the moment I've been waiting for. Finally, my gosh, what an incredible episode of Ascendance of Bookworm. This is easily the best episode of Season 4. I mean, yes, I've been getting some tear-jerking moments here and there. I've been liking some of the introductions of characters, some really fun moments with like the whole performance and stuff, but this is the good stuff. This is the juicy stuff. This is possibly one of the best episodes of the series thus far. I love getting into this gray area, the dirty sides of the society that mine is having to now pretty much acknowledge. Yes, you're not in fairy tale land. This isn't a peaceful place where everybody gets along and kumbaya. Every warning that Ferdinand gave in the previous episode, the idea that you're not going to have everything go your way, you're going to have to force your way through the situations, it's finally come to the front. And yes, once again, acknowledging that this is not a pretty world. I love that moment where Ferdinand's like, wait, hold on a second. What do you think that he did wrong? Like, what do you think the mayor did wrong? Like, why do you think they're on the chopping block right now? Well, he sold children. He took bribes. No, none of that's against the rules. It's a shock right there. It's a culture shock. She's having to now address the fact that this world isn't pretty. And you're going to have to deal with some really unsavory individuals. And I like that there's an element here where Mine still wants to have everybody live and be happy in the end. Like, she's still willing to help the mayor out. She's like, I'll just give him some compensation and everything will be right? No, he still disrespected me. I still want him dead. Oh, Ferdinand in this episode, there was times where I'm like, holy crap, this dude. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, again, I like it. I like it from a storyteller perspective, but it's like, holy crap, run from this guy. He's dangerous. He's been that way. Let's be honest. Again, Ferdinand's grown up in this world. He's dealt with the nobles. He's dealt with the commoners. He's dealt with everybody. He's dealt with nasty popes. Like, he's dealt with all these nasty individuals, and he had to survive through it all. He's going to know some tricks. So now it's like, now he's having to address that. Now he's having to teach Mine all these things that he's gone through. It is interesting, at the very end of the episode, they have like a little like skit, which I'm assuming is going to be canon, obviously. She's like, yeah, you should know based on my previous life that, I'm not experienced in this. And he's like, wait, yeah, I looked into your previous life and it looked like you were a noble. Like, based on the fact that her previous world and her previous life, she was in a clean environment, he assumed that she was a noble from that world. She's like, no, that concept's not even there. We don't have nobles in classes like that. Oh, okay, now we have to redo your entire training and everything because he assumed that she was a noble based on her previous life and how clean it was. So now there's like this, again, culture shock that he's now acknowledging and that she's being confronted with again. It's just not that Mine has never been having to deal with this before. Again, when she first got here, again, it readdressed it here recently with the kids. When she first got here, she was in a commoner place. She was suffering. Even in this episode, it points out the fact that, yes, during the winters, it was hard. Like, I acknowledge based on my experience that when it came to winter, you had to prepare. And if you didn't prepare enough, you're dead. That's just simply how it is. It's some good stuff. This entire episode brought up some really uncomfortable, but they're truths. Like I always say with Mushoku Tensei, they're uncomfortable truths. The idea that that's just life here. That's what we deal with. That's how you survive. You going to survive? Do you want to survive? Come here. Let me show you how to survive. This is basically it. It's not going to all go your way. It's something that he kind of pressed upon her previously with those kids. You got to force your way. You can't always expect that everything go conveniently. With this mayor, it's not going to go conveniently. He's going to come after you. That's how it works. Welcome. You're new here, right? Let me show you around. Let me show you how things go. And again, this is something that Mine has addressed before, but it's just another one that I think is really, really interesting. But anyways, before I get too far, let's go through the episode proper, going scene by scene, so I don't miss anything. But yes, opening up the episode, talk about the fact they got the kids coming here. And yes, finally acknowledging why the mayor was upset. And the assumption was there. The fact that he was planning on selling them to nobility seems like that's what upset him. I had a theory that possibly, specifically like Nora has some sort of special thing about her that would add on to that element. In the end, it's going to be Cell. But it's interesting to kind of get into more about the mayor himself and his arrogance and whatnot. And the fact that, yes, this is an individual that, yes, seemed like he had a lot of ties in with the previous guy. And he even sends a letter that Mine ends up having to get because she's the new one, sending a letter to this high priest and saying, hey, there's some arrogant people that came by, get rid of him, or tell him what for. Like, it seemed like he has a lot of connection with individuals, but I think it's kind of opens up the door to, again, the nastier but sort of like acknowledging good side of the whole situation, where it's like, again, an uncomfortableness that's there that is technically true. This seems like this is a guy that does take care of his people. he does sort of oversee a lot of people and has a lot of decent power because, yes, he oversees a lot of the nearby farms. So there's a lot of people that both have to look to him for safety and comfort and, yes, warmth during the winter and, products, but he's also somebody that gets a lot of influence because of that. But anyways, yes, getting into the fact that, yes, during the winter, he does sort of have a winter place where he brings all the people in. Even the nearby farms, like everybody seems to have a place to stay with him. So again, it does show this guy is not like 100% evil. Yes, you can have the argument that no matter what he does, he's still like the purest evil because of selling children. That is a horrible thing. But it's at least saying, hey, look at this. For the sake of the story and for the flow of everything that's happening here, acknowledge the fact that he is technically taking care of the people. And that's important. Why? Because like what Ferdinand talks about later, we will have the people come against us. No matter if you want to say that this guy is 100% evil because he sells children, you still have to acknowledge the fact that the people will see him as a saint because he takes care of them. Yes, they give them the orphans, anybody that cannot take care of children or say the parents pass away or something like that. He takes in all the children, takes care of them, and will sell them to nobles because he has the right to in order to provide for the town itself and again, keep people taken care of during the winter. At the end of the day, again, he's not breaking rules and he's taking care of his people. And that's, in the end of the day, unfortunately, for this world, all that matters. Again, I like addressing that, saying that. And yeah, again, in the end, the reason that Ferdinand hates him and wants him down is the fact that he disobeyed him and he attacked the monastery, which in the end becomes the big issue, of course, in this whole thing here. But some interesting thing that was brought up here during them talking about specifically this mayor is the territories, that there's two different types of land in Ehrenfest. There is the Gebis, I'm guessing is how it's pronounced, Gebis, which is the regions that are managed by, the nobles. There's all these lands that are outside of here that the different nobles, pretty much run. Then you have the center area, which is the domains that are governed by Ob. So that's pretty much the outer area, and then the inner area, that's the more important area for mine, currently. It was, though, interesting that they kind of got into the fact that, this makes sense too, right? There's going to be a lot of information that's happening that we're privy to that in this world, a lot of people are not going to know. Yeah, they're spreading rumors and whatnot, but it's not as if everything that happens around mine suddenly gets announced to the entire world. It's just inside of here, in this little bubble that we're at. And the information that other people are going to get outside of that is going to be either rumors or official announcements. But apparently it seems like even the adoption of mine hasn't even gone out there. So this guy has no clue that the high priest is gone. He dead. But additionally, that yes, mine has been adopted. And we've seen that, obviously, again, right? He's seen mine and said, oh, it's that girl from that ceremony. What is she doing here? He doesn't know that she's now the daughter of the Archduke. It's great. It's great. But yeah, as they're doing their little investigation around the mayor, eventually, yes, an attack comes on the monastery. Now, this is interesting because, yeah, I too didn't really acknowledge that this being sort of the reason why Ferdinand goes really hard in on the idea of punishing this guy. And that's the fact that this attack right here pretty much should spell the death of this entire village. And I think for the sake of mine, he's purposely holding back. Because yeah, there's a good chance here that Ferdinand, if mine wasn't in the situation, that he was doing this for somebody else, there's a good chance that Ferdinand would immediately have reported this and had the entire village burned down. Because that's the normal reaction in this world to somebody coming and attacking a monastery that was built for the daughter of the Archduke. Like he said, an attack on this monastery is like you attacked a family member of the Archduke. So yeah, this is not a good thing here that these people came here. But again, it goes back to what they were talking about before. One being the fact that yes, most of these farmers and whatnot probably didn't even know this monastery was built for the Archduke's daughter. They don't even know that it's the Archduke's daughter. The second thing here is yes, most of these people, the mayor is taking care of them. Whatever the mayor says they're going to do because the mayor keeps them from dying every single year during the winter. So they're more than willing to come here. They're taking away the money that we need to survive that year too. Not just the mayor, this money to sell these children is going to keeping us alive during the winter. Again, he points that out. That yes, you might think it's bad, but these children going off to nobles that pay for it is nothing compared to the town folks as a whole. These couple children, nothing to the overall townsfolk. Again, I love these gray areas. I love these gray areas so much, dude. But yes, after this attack, mine wants to go back there to check on Nora, and immediately Ferdinand stops her and says, no, wait, I don't want you to go back there yet. The reason why it seems like is that Ferdinand doesn't want Mind to be directly involved in this conflict. That if she goes back there now, she might run into this whole conflict itself, and then the word will get out that these individuals, these townfolks, attacked her and the monastery. So I think he wants to keep Mind away from there. I like how he brings up the fact, and it's a nasty little, like, it's under the belt a little bit, brings up the fact that, yes, by her being there, it'll be a situation like Wolf, that people around her keep dying. If anybody's involved around her, they'll end up dead. And this is something that she doesn't want. It's an unfortunate tragedy around what she's dealing with, is that everybody that she comes in contact with that either disrespect her, put her life in danger or something, is going to end up dead. That's just, unfortunately, the reality of this world. They don't mess around when it comes to what Mind's current position is. And again, that's another one of those little realities that I think that she has to acknowledge. As much as she doesn't like it, like small conflicts and whatnot are death sentences. It's just like with the kids in the previous episode. Small conflicts with these kids could end up in their death. If those kids rushed her in front of somebody important, those kids would have been dead. It's only because the only people in that room was, Daniel and Bridget and whatnot, that they survived. I mean, it's even surprising that Bridget herself didn't report it. But anyways, cut forward, we get the little letter from the mayor, again, not realize that the priest is dead. But no, this is where we got like that build up here. The fact that he wants her to send a letter saying the guy's dead and to see what he does. And getting into, once again, the moralities that are kind of presented here. And the fact that Mind's like, wait, you want to just send back, say that he's passed away and that's it? You don't want to, this has evidence in this that he's doing wrongdoing. And Ferdinand again here going, wait, what do you think is wrongdoing here? What in that letter is evidence? Oh, that he's selling children and that he's taking bribes. No. None of those two things are against the law. Again, he has rights to the kids, and yes, he's just doing favors, just like Benno did. When Benno first met Ferdinand, he brought him those little coins. It was a token there that was like to show like that favoritism. I'm going to ask for a favor, let me do something nice for you really quickly. It's not seen as a bribe. It's just literally not seen as a bribe. It's common. It's a common thing in this world. Everything that she's presenting is common sense here. That's not seen as bad. No, the bad that, again, Ferdinand sees this whole thing, the true crimes, the fact that he disrespected a noble. That was the big thing. He disrespected them and went against their wishes. Those are against the law. Those could end up with him dead. Now, it's interesting here, and again, it's the assumption here. It seems to imply later on this was not intentional. There's another thing that's going on in Ferdinand's mind in this moment, and that's that somebody attacked the monastery. That is the big thing present in Ferdinand's mind. It's just sad that right here, Mind doesn't see that, and we as a viewer, somebody out there might have seen this already, and I didn't see it coming. Mind doesn't see that Ferdinand's pressing on this idea of taking down this mayor because he's trying to protect the people too. And again, I think he's doing it because he wants to do it for Mind's sake. He knows that Mind doesn't want this entire village burned down, and thus he's trying to present to Mind, okay, you need to take down this guy. You need to create another faction, put somebody in position of taking over, and they'll then take over the entire area once we take down the mayor. Create an opposing faction and destroy him. And that's something that Mind doesn't want to do. I've always been told my entire life, don't entrap people. I've been told how everything you're telling me to do is wrong, and it's creating this heavy anxiety within her. I love how it presents that. I cannot wait to read this segment in the novel, by the way, because I'm sure that it gets much more deeper in her mind, because you can see it. Like, every scene after this moment, it's Mind being haunted by this. It's being haunted by Ferdinand literally saying, destroy this guy, entrap him. Do everything you've been told in your previous life is wrong. Basically, rewire yourself to be a nasty noble. Because you're going to have to learn to do that. You're going to have to learn how to control people. You're going to have to learn how to create opposing factions and gain the favor of people. Again, in the end, these town folks love the mayor because the mayor takes care of them. And at the same time, you want to create a safe place for these kids. Those two things are not going to work side by side. You got to destroy the mayor and protect the children. I like in the end, and even with like the whole conversation with Lutz and having Benno pretty much, again, confirm the fact that he's protecting the village. I like what Lutz is saying there is really going, change your perspective. Don't go with the idea that you're entrapping people and entrapping this mayor. Go that you're trying to save the people. Because that's really the truth in the end. Basically take something from each one of these people. Ferdinand wants you to force your mindset. Force what you want to happen. Stop waiting for it to conveniently go your way. Lutz is saying, look at the positive side, not the negative side. You're protecting the people. The mayor brought those people into the situation, and they could end up dead. Benno is the one that confirmed the fact that, yes, the villagers, in the end, if this doesn't work out, could end up dead. Take these elements that each of these individuals are bringing to you and turn it into a process. Turn it into a resolve. And that resolve, in the end, is a rumor. The rumor that the mayor did something stupid. The rumor that, yes, something happened, may have happened, because they're saying this is going to bring this to light, but it's not going to necessarily lead to their death, hopefully not. We're going to bring what potentially could have happened to light to people as a rumor, and it's going to force the villagers to go, if this comes to light, we're dead. We got to get the person at fault to admit it so we can survive. Which is brilliant, right? Because this entire scenario, the issue is that the people did this and attacked the monastery because the mayor protects them and keeps them safe. You can probably claim they don't care about the mayor. They just care about survival. Sell children? Sure, if it means our survival. Go attack the monastery? Sure, if it means our survival. In the end, it's people desperate to survive. It's people with their families wanting to live another winter, and they're willing to do things that they might not think is right because this means their safety. In the end, what they're presenting is a rumor that could potentially open up the door to survival once again, because if they don't admit who did it, they could end up dead. Winter? Burn down their entire village. It's the same scenario. Who are you going to throw under the bus? The mayor. It's clever. It's clever in the end. Again, I love this entire time having Mine just absolutely struggling with this and everything, and that leads into the final scene we have to talk about with the brother. I love these conundrums that Mine's being put through, really making her dread the fact that her moralities are changing. Because she's come to this world, she's trying to keep to her old morals, and that's positive. I would probably want to do the same damn thing. Even if I went to another world, it would be very hard to accept a lot of these things, especially selling children. That's going to be a very difficult thing to see. But the problem is that she's trying to find sort of outlets outside of that. She's technically grabbing these children and from the orphanages and putting them to work. Again, we're already getting into the idea of child labor with Mine. She's doing that. But again, it's always to a positive. We see it in this episode. All the children love Mine when she shows back up. Why? She proved that she'll protect them. She proved they would have food on the table. Proved they would have a warm and safe place to stay. And yes, in return, they're going to have to work. They're willing to do that last part because all these positive things that come from it. So again, it's a gray area, but as long as it's kept to the least amount of morally corrupt things that you can possibly do is what makes it a positive character. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Anyways, outside of all that stuff, again, we do have that last little scene, which is Mine nearly killed her brother. I was not expecting that to go that dark. Yes, she runs into Wilfred again. Wilfred's running from her attendants and immediately goes aggro on Mine. You're going to see Father again, aren't you? You get to see Father all the time. Why do you get to see Father all the time? She's like, well, if you stop being stupid, all you do is cause problems for everybody. You're being cheeky. Well, if you'd be more freaking dependable, I would not be asked to do... Here's the interesting thing. Mine says, if you were more dependable, I wouldn't receive such unreasonable tasks from Ferdinand. This is a lashing out. Unless I'm forgetting something, I think this is a lashing out. She's lashing out at Wilfred for what's going on with her currently and Ferdinand. Again, right now, leading up to this point, she's constantly stressed out by the fact, unable to sleep, because she's got this crazy task to entrap somebody. And I think right here, as she's inside breaking emotionally and having to deal with this scenario, she's now dealing with him lashing out at her, and so she just kind of throws at him. It's your fault that I'm dealing with this. And again, with that emotion building up in her, with him yelling at her and criticizing her after all the stress that she's going through, activate the powers. Nearly kills her brother. No, you stop, Mine, stop. Powers off, turn the powers off. Wilfred nearly got it. Wilfred nearly got choked. Oh, yeah, that was interesting. That was very interesting. I think that's pretty much it, though. That was pretty much it. What, again, incredible episode. My gosh, I got to yap quite a bit. I love that. I love that. It's been a while since I've had a really good yap episode, and again, a lot of it has to do with the whole, again, moral gray areas that this is presenting that I absolutely love. But this is stuff that I like. And again, this is what I always talk about previously with like Mushoku Tensei. As much as a lot of people don't like Mushoku Tensei for a lot of the subject matter it gets into, it's a lot of the stuff that I like. I like whenever a story presents something that I, yes, morally do not like. I hate this stuff. I hate that it exists. And yeah, I hate that a lot of this stuff still exists to this day. Again, there's forced labor and selling people that still happens to this day. I think it's cool to get into this stuff because it upsets you, it proves that it's morally wrong. And if it doesn't morally upset you, then yeah, that's when you question things. I think it's good to bring up these subjects, to think about them, to talk about them, to acknowledge they exist, because otherwise, if you don't know how they work and know what the positives for the people doing it, you won't know how to stop it, pretty much. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.